So I'm not going to give away any hints or any kind of spoilers for the story that I'm going to write on. I'm going to write in Nano. So I'm going to use a story that almost everyone knows, which is going to be Cinderella. And usually I'll start in the center. If I'm feeling real fancy, I'll start from the corner and make it like a web. I think this is actually called the snowflake process. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. I actually learned this back in high school, so 10, 12 years ago? Yeah, 12. Wow, I feel old. But my creative writing teacher had us write down anything and everything we thought of that we thought would be kind of cool in the story. And sometimes she would just have us write for 5-10 minutes straight, no stopping, no matter what you were writing. That was really useful. That was cool. And this is, don't mind me, my hands are gonna be all over the place because I'm actually looking through the viewfinder. I've never done a voiceover before, so bear with me. All right, so Cinderella. And a main point would be lives with her dad, because her mom died. All right, so that's an important thing. And then I guess if I wanted to, we could say, if it somehow fits, what kind of illness. I think actually, I don't think the original ever said why she was sick or why she died. I'm not really sure. Irrelevant. All right, so eventually she gets a stepmom and 2 stepsisters. So that's important. And then eventually her dad dies. Man, she's got a tragic life. That's so sad. Let's see, what else? So stepmom is, we'll just say evil, because she was. And I didn't mean that to be insensitive, that she has a tragic life. Lots of people have lost their parents, and it's very, very rough. I actually am coming up on a year of my mother passing away, so I actually kind of know how she feels, and it's really hard. A lot of people say that it's easier whenever you're a child to lose a parent, but really it's not easy no matter when it happens. So back to brainstorming. We could say we wanted to make this stepmother a robot, because why not? And she's actually Russian spy. Now these are all just what ifs. Oh no, my pen is kind of acting funny. Of course it would. Yeah, we'll be fine. So she's actually a Russian spy. I think Cinderella's actually, isn't this a German story? I think it's a German story. I'll have to check that some other time. So Cinderella becomes a maid or servant. I'm not really sure which one it's actually considered in the book. So she becomes a maid. Let's see. Sisters are brats. Mine are too. I feel you, Cinderella. We'll say Cinderella is invited to a ball, which I don't think technically she was. I think it was for everyone though. You can tell it's been a while since I've watched or read Cinderella. Actually, my favorite rendition of Cinderella is Ever After. If you've never read that, it is incredibly adorable. I do recommend it. It's actually one of my favorite books in the whole world. I have a copy on my shelf at any given time. So, okay, she's invited to the ball. Ooh, I'm just making a mess. But since she's a servant, she has no dress. Uh-oh. Alright, so she could steal one. Or, let's see, she could buy one. Let me move this. Buy one with organs on black market. Oh no, it really is dying. Dang it, this is one of my favorites. No, wait, there's plenty of ink. It's just being silly. Okay, so she steals somebody's kidney and sells it, and then buys a dress and goes and gets married. No, that's not really how that happens. But, so she is introduced to Godmother. And that's a key. What if Godmother was actually an evil, we'll say, genie? So, any wish means the Godfather gets to take her soul. Godfather? Godmother. Oh my, that'd be a completely different story. Alright, so Godmother gets to steal her soul. Actually, this kind of sounds awesome. Maybe I'll write this in the future. But really, her godmother just gives her a dress. Alright. And you know, magic. Oof, my handwriting is getting worse and worse. Okay, so we'll say after, a good hour, this is what I come up with. This is my complete brainstorming. I can't think of anything else. I'm done. That's when I get a new piece of paper. Some people do this in Excel, and kudos to them. I'm very kinesthetic. So doing things by hand seems to cement the idea a little bit better for me. I've always been that way. I can learn visually or auditorily. Is that how you say it? Auditorily. But I'm very textile. So this works for me. So, move this to the side. And this is where I do my loose outlining. So I'll start, we'll do main Cindy and her dad. And that'll be, main chapter. It explains, maybe her dad dies in the first one. After the wedding. And that'll be the first chapter, and then I'll say second chapter, stepmom demotes Cindy. All right, so we have a buildup of the inciting, the actual problem with the story. So you could do like a 5 years later. Sometimes that works. I've actually read quite a few stories where it'll skip year by year, especially, let's see, Graveyard Book does that. It goes from a story, each chapter is, I think, a year or maybe a couple months at a time. So sometimes you can do that. So for this, we'll just say, it's been 5 years since she's been demoted, and invitations. Oh my handwriting's everywhere. Sent to all women, and I think she was forbidden to go. Photo off camera. I'll just slide my camera over. There we go. Alright, so she's forbidden. She can't go. She cries, boo-hoo, you know, in my room, I really want to go. And then boom, godmother. Alright, so you could do next scene, godmother, I'm just gonna shorten that, explains magic, offers dress, and pumpkins. Who doesn't want to ride in a pumpkin? Actually, I don't. That sounds horribly uncomfortable. Alright, so if I wanted to, this is where I could sneak in that she's actually an evil genie. So I would put brackets, evil genie. Why do I keep putting an extra I in there? No, there we go. Evil genie. Now, I use the same color to tell myself that this isn't necessary. This is just a fun twist. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I'll try to write the chapter, and if it just doesn't seem to fit, I'll just delete it all, and then I'll actually cross this out so that I can tell myself in the future not to worry about it. So, back to purple. Alright, so, you know, you get the point. Imagine I just can't think of what comes next. You know, she's in the pumpkin, she's on the way to the castle, but something happens. You know, there's an accident or something of that nature. I'll put it in here in brackets. Sometimes I'll even put a sticker next to it. Say like I'd put one of these shiny ones to grab attention. Like, hey, you know, something really bad happened. She's freaking out. Pumpkin crashed. What's she gonna do now? And then if I know the next scene, I'll just continue on. She makes it to the castle. Cool. And then she meets Prince. And whenever I'm doing this, not sometimes, but if while I'm writing this, I come up with another twist, or my brainstorming over here is missing something that I just couldn't think of earlier, like, what if the prince is actually part of the, I don't know, what is it called, the KG? He's also a Russian spy. Russian spy. Then I'll actually put that in brackets over here. So it's like a nicer, easier to read version of this, which you can't really tell because I'm all over the page over here. However, usually I'll write this nicely, or I'll type it up if I really need like a clean cut, hey, I'm gonna share this with somebody to get their idea. I'll, do line by line. But essentially, that's what I do. I clean it up and make it easy to read. And then if I find any plot holes off of the basic one, I'll just put little notes on the side like, hey, plot hole, to give myself a bit of a heads up in the future. But after that, I pretty much pants my butt off, which, why don't more people say it that way? Pants my butt off. Either way, so in the future, you can expect a video on what my current novel is. It's actually in the second stage right now. I am working on the second draft. It's going to be sent out to betas in about 2 weeks. My deadline is the 15th for myself. If I have to extend it, I'm going to be kind of livid with myself, but I mean, it happens. Gotta be kind to yourself. And then I'm actually going to make a whole video about my NaNoWriMo project, which, again, hint. So you can look forward to that. Probably some NaNoWriMo vlogs as well, and lots of coffee, lots and lots of coffee. So until then, I'll talk to you later. Be safe. People are nuts.